Hey there, Drew here, and welcome back to a reading of Joseph Priestley's book, Socrates and Jesus Compared. Today, section 3. Pardon if I look sweaty, it's 110 degrees today. And this one is of the excellent moral character of Socrates. These, it cannot be denied, are excellent sentiments and much to be admired, considering that the little light that Socrates had, that of nature only, uninstructed by any revelation. And with him, these sentiments were not merely speculative. His whole life seems to have been strictly conformable to them, being eminently virtuous and wholly devoted to the service of his fellow citizens. Xenophon, who knew him well, though having been his pupil, we may suppose him to have been slightly prejudiced in his favor, gives the following general account of his character and conduct. He was so religious that he did nothing without the advice of the gods. He was so just that he never injured any person in the smallest matter, but rendered every service in his power to those with whom he had any connection. He was so temperate that he never preferred what was grateful to what was useful. He was so prudent that he never mistook the worse for the better, nor did he want the advice of others, but always judged for himself. In his conversation, he excelled in defining what was right, and in showing it to others, reproving the vicious and exhorting the practice of virtue. Though the circumstances of Socrates were the reverse of affluent, he would never receive any gratuity for the lessons he gave, as all other philosophers and public teachers did. And by this means, as he said, he preserved his freedom and independence. When upon his trial he was urged by his friends to supplicate the judges, as was the universal custom, in order to move their compassion, he refused to ask any favor even of them, being of opinion this was contrary to the laws, according to which, and not according to favor, judges ought to decide. In all the changes in the political state of the turbulent city of Athens, which were many at the time of Socrates, he adhered inflexibly to what he thought to be just, without being influenced by hope or fear. This was particularly conspicuous on two occasions. The first was when, being one of the judges in the case of the 10 generals who were tried for their lives on account of their not collecting and burying the dead after a naval engagement, and all the rest, influenced no doubt by the popular clamor against them, condemned them to die. He alone refused to concur in the sentence. Soon after, the citizens in general, convinced of the injustice of the sentence, though it after it had been carried into execution, approved of his conduct. The other was during the government of the 30 tyrants, when, though in manifest danger of his life, he refused to approve of their measures, and he escaped by nothing but their overthrow, and the city recovering its liberty. That Socrates, at the close of life, expressed his satisfaction in his own conduct cannot be thought extraordinary. It was, he observed, in concurrence with the general opinion of his countrymen, and with a declaration of the oracle at Delphi in his favor. For when it was consulted by Chersphon, one of his disciples, the answer was that there was no person more honorable, more just, or more wise than he. He put, however, a very modest construction on this oracle, which was that, though he knew no more than other men, he did not, like them, pretend to know more, so that he only knew himself and his own ignorance better than other men. His reputation and consequences of it, and of his conduct in general, had no other than the happiest influence upon him. For addressing his judges, he observed that it being a generally received opinion that he was wiser than other men, he said that, whether that opinion was well-founded or not, he thought he ought to not demean himself by any unworthy action. Notwithstanding Socrates' consciousness of integrity and general merit, and the good opinion of the wise and virtuous, he He was so sensible of the malice of his enemies that when he was brought before his judges, he had no expectation of being acquitted, and therefore he expressed his surprise when he found out he was condemned by a majority of no more than 3 votes out of 500. It being customary at Athens, when any person was found guilty of the charge brought against him, to require him to say what, in his own opinion, his punishment should be. And this question, being proposed to Socrates, conscious as he was of no demerit, but on the contrary of his valuable services to his country, he said that since he had made no gain by his profession of public instructor, had never held any lucrative office in the state, and he was poor, he was like other persons in a similar situation, and with similar claims, entitled to a maintenance at the public expense in the Prytaneum. They destroyed him, he farther said, they would not soon find another like him. This has the appearance of vanity and ostentation, but if the praising a man's self be at all justifiable, it is on such an occasion as this, when he is unjustly censured and condemned by others. Okay, that's about it. There's a footnote, but when I transcribed this, it screwed it up. Yeah. Okay. This is section 3 of Joseph Priestley's book, written in 1804, comparison of Socrates and Jesus. All right. Thank you very much. See you at the next video. Bye-bye.